Martin Brundle just made the most shocking podium prediction for the Australian Grand Prix, and Lando Norris is nowhere to be found. The Sky Sports commentator is backing Charles Leclerc to win in Melbourne, placing George Russell second and Oscar Piastri third. That means the reigning world champion, who won this exact race last year, doesn't even make Brundle's podium. When asked for his Australian GP prediction by Sky Sports, Brundle didn't hesitate. Leclerc to win, Russell second, Piastri third. No Norris, no Verstappen, no Hamilton. Just Ferrari's Monegasque driver taking his second Melbourne victory after dominating here in 2022. That's an absolutely wild call considering where we are in the season. Norris is the defending champion. He won in Australia just 12 months ago. He's driving for McLaren, a team that took the Constructors' Championship last year and looked competitive in testing. Yet Brundle is convinced Norris won't even finish on the podium when the checkered flag drops on Sunday. The prediction becomes even more interesting when you look at what the other Sky Sports pundits said. Every single one of them picked George Russell to be involved in the podium fight, but beyond that, complete disagreement. Karun Chandok went for Russell to win ahead of Piastri and Norris, leaving both Ferrari drivers off the podium entirely. Anthony Davidson picked Russell first, Verstappen second, and Norris third. David Croft matched Chandok's prediction. Russell, Piastri, Norris. But Brundle is the only one bold enough to pick Leclerc for the win while leaving out the world champion completely. Subscribe now because things are about to get wild in Melbourne. Help us hit 10,000. Brundle's confidence in Leclerc isn't coming from nowhere. Ferrari looked incredibly strong during pre-season testing. They topped the timesheets in both Barcelona and Bahrain. Leclerc set the fastest lap in Bahrain, breaking into the 1 minute 31 seconds when no other team could match that pace. And Ferrari's practice starts? Absolutely explosive. They looked like rocket ships off the line. The SF26 demonstrated both speed and reliability across 5 days of testing. Ferrari completed thousands of laps without major issues. They showed innovation with their radical Macarena rear wing that flips 180 degrees to reduce drag on straights. And most importantly for Brundle's prediction, they looked fastest on the kind of long-run pace that wins races, not just sets quick lap times. Leclerc has history at Albert Park. He won here in 2022 in dominant fashion, leading every single lap from pole position to secure his first career Grand Slam. He set the fastest lap. He controlled the race through 2 safety car periods. He beat Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez convincingly, winning by over 20 seconds. That 2022 victory came during a regulation reset, just like 2026. Ferrari nailed the ground effect cars at the start of that era, and Leclerc capitalized with victories in Bahrain and Australia to build a 34-point championship lead. The parallels to this year are striking. New regulations, Ferrari looking strong in testing, Leclerc comfortable in the car from day one. Ferrari has won the Australian Grand Prix 13 times in history. A victory this weekend would extend their lead to 14 wins, while McLaren trails closely behind with 12 victories at Albert Park. Ferrari clearly performs well in Melbourne, and Brundle is betting they'll do it again with Leclerc leading the charge. But what about Norris? How does the defending champion, driving for a top team, get left off Brundle's podium completely? McLaren showed decent pace in testing, but didn't look dominant like they did at points during 2025. The MCL40 completed solid mileage and demonstrated reliability, but the outright speed wasn't as impressive as Ferrari or Mercedes. Norris himself acknowledged the championship battle would be tight this year, with multiple teams capable of winning on any given weekend. Brundle's prediction suggests he thinks McLaren will struggle in Melbourne specifically, even if they're competitive over the full season. Albert Park is a unique circuit with its combination of high-speed corners, tight chicanes, and long straights where energy deployment will be critical. If Ferrari has the energy management dialed in better than McLaren, Leclerc could pull away from Norris in race conditions. The George Russell factor makes Brundle's prediction even more interesting. Every Sky Sports pundit picked Russell for the podium. Most picked him to win. That unanimous belief in Mercedes' pace isn't surprising given their testing performance, but it does suggest everyone expects the Silver Arrows to be the team to beat in Australia. Mercedes looked incredibly strong across both Bahrain test sessions. Russell completed high mileage without major issues. The W17 showed consistent pace on both short and long runs. And Mercedes' power unit, the focus of so much pre-season hype, delivered the performance everyone expected. Russell will start the Australian GP as the bookmakers' favourite for a reason. Brundle picking Russell for second instead of the win is noteworthy. It suggests he thinks Ferrari's race pace will edge out Mercedes despite the widespread belief that the Silver Arrows have the best package. That's a bold stance, especially when Brundle's own colleagues are picking Russell to dominate. The Oscar Piastri pick for third makes perfect sense given the home race factor. Australia hasn't had a driver on the podium at their home Grand Prix since 1983. That's 43 years of waiting for the Australian fans. Piastri is driving for McLaren, a competitive team. He finished the 2025 season strong with multiple podium finishes. And Albert Park will have over 400,000 fans desperate to see their countryman on the podium. Piastri knows the circuit. He's raced here multiple times. The pressure will be enormous, but so will the motivation. If McLaren gives him a car capable of fighting for third, Piastri has the talent to deliver. Brundle clearly believes the combination of skill, motivation, and a decent car will be enough for Piastri to grab that final podium spot. What makes Brundle's prediction truly shocking is the absence of Max Verstappen. The four-time world champion is driving for Red Bull, a team that showed a significant energy deployment advantage during testing. Toto Wolff admitted Red Bull has a 1 second per lap advantage in energy deployment across consecutive laps. That's massive, yet Brundle doesn't think it translates to a podium in Australia. Maybe Brundle believes Red Bull's sandbagging claims are legitimate. Maybe he thinks Albert Park won't suit the RB22 Ford's characteristics. Or maybe he's concerned about reliability given this is Red Bull's first ever in-house engine. Whatever the reason, leaving Verstappen off the podium is a statement that Red Bull won't hit the ground running in Melbourne. Lewis Hamilton's absence from Brundle's podium is less surprising given how 2025 went. Hamilton struggled throughout his first year at Ferrari, finishing 86 points behind Leclerc in the championship. But testing suggested a different Hamilton in 2026, more comfortable, more confident, driving a car that actually suits his style. Yet Brundle still doesn't think he'll podium in Australia. The variety in predictions from Sky Sports pundits reflects the genuine uncertainty heading into Melbourne. No one knows who has the fastest car. Testing provided clues, but Albert Park is completely different from Barcelona and Bahrain. The track layout favours different characteristics. The weather will be different. The energy management strategies teams perfected in testing might not work at all in race conditions. Brundle himself acknowledged the unpredictability. "It's going to be a bit wild," he said about the season opener. "I think we're going to see a lot of variability." He expects at least 6 different race winners across the opening races as teams figure out the new regulations and optimize their packages for different circuits. The regulation reset has leveled the playing field more than anyone expected. Pre-season testing suggested Mercedes, Ferrari, McLaren, and Red Bull are separated by tiny margins. On any given weekend, any of those 4 teams could win depending on track characteristics, weather, and which team nails their energy deployment strategy. Brundle's prediction that Leclerc will win reflects his belief that Ferrari has figured out the 2026 regulations better than anyone else. The SF26 looked planted during testing. Leclerc drove with confidence. The team's reliability was flawless. And Ferrari's innovation with the radical rear wing shows they're thinking differently about how to maximize performance under these new rules. If Brundle is right, Sunday will be a statement race for Ferrari and Leclerc. A victory in Australia would send a message to the entire grid that Ferrari is the team to beat in 2026. It would give Leclerc early championship momentum. And it would validate all the optimism surrounding Ferrari's winter development program. But if Brundle is wrong, if Norris wins again, or Russell dominates, or Verstappen proves Red Bull's pace is real, then the 2026 season becomes even more unpredictable than anyone imagined. The beauty of this prediction is we'll know the answer in just a few days. The Australian Grand Prix weekend begins Friday morning with first practice. Qualifying happens Saturday, and Sunday's race will either prove Brundle's bold prediction correct or expose it as wildly optimistic about Ferrari's chances. Either way, the fact that a respected pundit like Brundle is willing to leave the defending champion off the podium entirely tells you everything about how wide open this season is. Ferrari has won 13 Australian Grand Prix. Leclerc has won once in Melbourne, dominating in 2022. The SF26 looked fast and reliable in testing, and Martin Brundle just put his reputation on the line by predicting Leclerc to win while Norris watches from outside the podium positions. Melbourne is 4 days away. The sandbagging stops. The speculation ends. And we'll find out if Brundle's insane prediction was genius or madness. One thing is certain, if Leclerc wins and Norris finishes fourth or worse, Brundle will never let anyone forget he called it before anyone else did.